Hi everyone, I'm back with a new video. So now I'm starting another series is on the furniture selections for your minimalist home. So I hope this will help you to get some insights on how to choose your core furnitures. So yep, let's get started. So here's the content page of what I will be touching on today. Okay, so tip number one, of course, the most important thing. So you have to make sure your sofa fits your home. So that's why the first one is about placements and dimensions. Okay, so now let's look at my floor plan because that's the only one I have now. Yep, so this is the floor plan and you can get it from HDB or when you buy the house you should have lah, okay? Then the bottom of your floor plan, right, there's actually a disclaimer saying that the black shaded boxes are actually the structural column walls, so you cannot actually hack all those. So just take note. Okay, then when you zoom in into the living area, because that's where the sofa will be, then if you look at my floor plan, so actually I have two placements that I can actually put the sofa. And then because we already decided that the TV will be mounted on the black color wall that cannot be hacked, because we already plan to hack the study room wall, so there's only one option for us to put the sofa. And yeah, so this is the final sofa placement that we sort of have no choice so yeah. And then once you decided your sofa placement, right, you have to decide what kind of sofa and the configuration that you want lah. So there's like a few types of sofas in the market. So we have L-shape, or sometimes they call it sectional, 432 seater, 1 seater, or they call it armchair, and they have recliners and sofa beds. And then just to take note, for sofas that have like functions, right, like recliners and sofa beds, you might require additional space for the back for the thing to function lah, because recliner, they will sometimes they will recline back, and the sofa bed sometimes the back is like the click clack version, so you have to like have some space for the thing to come down at the back lah. Okay, as much as we all love, not all lah, but most of you all love like L-shaped sofa with footrest and stuff, you have to consider if your space is like suitable for this kind of sofa. Like if you see my floor plan, right, if I put like a L-shape there, there's like only like a small area for me to like cross over to sit on my sofa, so it's not very suitable lah. So of course I think most of y'all should be able to put like against the window, but for my case it's because it's the entrance to the balcony, so I really cannot lah. Yeah, so for my case it's actually quite straightforward lah, because I can only put like a single row sofa. And then of course you need to know the sofa measurements before you go and buy, right? So here I will teach you how to sort of get the measurements without going to the site. Of course I know the best and accurate way is to go down to the site to measure, but then sometimes either you're lazy or your house is still occupied by other people, and sometimes the sale is coming out and you're a bit kanchiong, right? So you want to know the measurements like straight away, right? You can just use your floor plan actually. Okay, so if you go back to my floor plan, right, there's actually this small text that says scale 1 to 100. So this one is really scaled like accordingly. Okay, so very simple. So what you do is you print out your floor plan on a piece of A4 paper, and then very important when you print, right, you have to select do not scale, so you don't change the scale of the file that they send you. Okay, so once you have done that, you can actually check the measurements of your paper. Your floor plan is correct by just choose one number. Like example for my case is I just choose like 2000 lah. Then after I just like get my ruler and try to measure if it's correct. So if you see, right, it's actually 2 cm. So it's actually correct lah. Okay, so for my case, I'll just measure the living room, which I'll zoom in for you to see properly. So I already know that wall I want to put that sofa, right? So I'll measure this wall. So if you see, my ruler is actually around 2 cm. 2 cm is actually around 2 meter lah. So I know my sofa is around 2 meter, as you can see. Then after that, I'll measure the depth as well. So I can know like how deep the sofa will be. So it's around 1 cm, which is around 1 meter for my case. And then tip number 2 is to consider your lift size. So in case if you don't know, the typical HDB lift size, the maximum height, right, is actually around 2.1 meter lah, including packaging. It will vary for older HDB houses and condos. So this one is just a guideline. For most HDB, it will be around 2.1 meter. So that means, right, even if your house big, right, like if you can fit like 3 meter sofa, right, it doesn't mean you can buy a 3 meter like a one piece sofa. You have to consider like if your lift can fit lah. If not, you have to pay the staircase charges. I mean, if you're rich, you can do that lah, okay? So another way is to buy modular sofas, which means that the sofa comes with like individual units that can be, you know, put together to form like a big sofa. Or actually, L-shaped sofas should be okay because they actually come in separate units. So just to make sure that your arm unit part is not like longer than 2.1 meter. And then the next tip will be the usage and functionality. So of course you have to feel comfortable on your sofa, right? So you have to consider the seat firmness, seat height, seat depth, backrest height, and the armrest height. Okay, so if you have no idea what I'm talking about, so this is like a simple diagram for you to understand what's going on. So all this I feel like will affect your comfort. So the next point will be the functionality of your sofa. I mean, unless you live alone, you have to consider your family and of course if you have any friends who might come over to stay over lah. So yeah. Okay, so for example, for families with kids or pets, right, you might want to get like a low sofa so that your kids or pets will, like, you know, can come up to the sofa easily and come down easily. And then for the sofa beds, right, there's like so many types, right? So you have to consider if you want sofa beds with armrest, without armrest, or how big the sofa bed should be to occupy 1 or 2 person. And then next will be the sofa design. I mean, I'm talking about the aesthetic wise lah. So generally for minimalist home, right, you want to make sure everything is like, you know, simple and clean and stuff, and not so complicated like your life, right? So yeah, so you choose sofas with simple, straight, vertical and horizontal lines, like all these. And once you keep your sofa very simple, like, you know, simple lines, vertical and horizontal, it actually flows very well with your minimalist home lah. So it's actually very clean and not, you know, not messy like all these photos here. And so of course the colors you have to choose like a very neutral color. So example, white, light grey, beige color. I think those three are like, you know, the safe colors. So because it blends well with your home, like all these photos are, because generally for minimalist home, you want to keep everything clean and like simple and airy. I mean, of course you can buy like black or dark grey sofa lah, but then I wouldn't recommend because like a big blocky sofa will take up visual space of your home. So let's say, I mean, like you can see all those examples here. If you put like a black sofa against like light background, it will take up, you feel like there's like one block of black color box there. I mean, of course, if you want, you can just make sure that maybe you can get a sofa that's like not, I mean, with legs so it doesn't look so chunky. And also maybe the size or the width of the sofa maybe not so big lah. If you have small house, maybe just a small corner is okay lah. Okay, so there's a few sofa designs that you can consider to, you know, lighten up the visual space. First one will be open-ended sofa. That means sofa with no armrest. Then you can opt for low back profile. So the backrest is short lah, so you can, you know, have more upper space. So your space will look bigger. Then you can opt for elevated legs like what I mentioned before. So it's like not so chunky lah, so it's like floating above the ground. Then of course the last one will be layering with another material like wood. It will like, you know, like same thing, it won't look so chunky . And lastly will be the upholstery choice. Okay, so for some of the most common upholstery category for sofas, right, will be fabric sofas, leather sofas, and velvet sofas. So okay, so for this video I will leave velvet sofas out because I feel like it's a bit luxe, a bit not suitable for minimalist home. And then here's a chart to compare between fabric sofas and leather sofa. So for fabric sofas, the pros is less expensive, more versatile in design. I mean, I personally feel like it's more suitable for minimalist home lah. Then of course it's more comfortable. And then but then for the cons, right, it's actually I mean it traps dust and fur because it's like, you know, textured lah. It's not like smooth, right? It's not smooth like leather, so. And it's easily stained, so it's like I mean if you just buy like a normal sofa, it will like, you know, stain if you like pour water or something. For normal fabrics lah, then of course it's prone to scratches lah. I mean if you have pets or whatever, cats or dogs, then jialat already . And then for leather, right, I mean the good thing is that the pet fur doesn't cling on the leather lah, because it's very smooth ma. Then it is resistant to stain, so it's like, because it's like quite shiny lah, so it's like you pour water, it will sort of repel lah a bit. Then it's sort of scratch resistant, but I mean it depends on your cat's claws lah. If it's very sharp, then I cannot guarantee lah. then of course it's hypoallergenic. But then for leather, if you're talking about the real leather, right, it's actually very expensive. Then even if your pet scratch, right, it might leave like a permanent mark on your leather. And then last point will be it might feel warm lah, because it's like full solid piece, but it's not like there's like holes inside. So okay, so I know most of us are like, worried about your pet or your baby destroying your sofa. So here are some ways to how to prevent before or after when you buy the sofa lah. So the first one would be choosing like a scratch resistant fabric. Of course, all these are not 100%. It's also it really depends on how aggressive your cat is. So this fabric, right, is actually, it feels like velvet, but it's not actually velvet. It's like very short pile. So there's like no thread for them to hook on. So that's the and the fabric is generally thicker lah. So that's why it's scratch resistant. Then secondly, right, you can actually choose fabric with like smooth texture. So because the cats, the claw, right, they actually like to cling, they actually like to scratch the post, right, because they like to like hook on stuff. So you can try to like buy sofas with no visible weaves lah, so it's deters them from scratching lah. Then after that, the third point will be like, you can buy any sofa that you want, but you can just like put an extra blanket over to cover or protect your sofa. That's the easiest way, like if you have existing sofa. And the last thing is like you can buy sofas with removable covers, so you can if it's destroyed, you can buy again lah. So yeah, that's all the 5 tips that I want to share with you today. So here's the summary of what I covered today, in case you forgot. So first one will be placement dimensions for good spatial planning. Second will be lift size and transportation to ensure your sofa can fit and be transported into your home. Third one will be usage and functionality for your comfort and usage for your needs. And fourth will be the sofa design that just make sure that you got clean lines that are easy on the eyes lah. Then the last one will be the upholstery choice for maintenance and longevity of your sofa. So we have come to the end of my video. I hope you learned something today. And if you like this kind of video, please like and subscribe to my channel for more content like this. And of course, if you like this kind of video, please leave a comment down and let me know which furniture item you want me to do next. So till then, see you next time. Bye!